Welcome to a Whirly Bear Productions podcast with me, Amber Williams. We explore film finance and distribution, featuring insights from filmmakers, entertainment lawyers, and industry experts. This week on the podcast, I'm joined by Fabian Farina and Mariano Mattei, the founders of Four Olive Productions, which is an award-winning indie film company based in the heart of Philadelphia. We dive into what it's really like working in the Philly film scene, how they got their films on streaming platforms, and the role a good publicist can play in landing industry exposure and distribution deals. They also break down their three-pronged approach to getting on Netflix in the future, the power of networking, and what it takes to make truly independent cinema thrive. Don't miss out on this inspiring and practical conversation with two absolutely lovely filmmakers who are doing it their way and winning. Hi guys, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Of course, you're welcome. I'm really excited. So I will start off with, what is the film industry like in Philadelphia?
You want to take that one?
I'll take the first crack at it because I'm a bit. So Philly has a vibrant community of film producers and a lot of crew members and excellent actors and acting schools. And it's a really good, tight-knit community. However, I want to say maybe 10 years ago, Fabe, or so, there were some changes in the tax structure in Philadelphia. And a lot of the tax incentives for making films in Philly went away, which is why a lot of people left the area. I feel that enough people have stuck around and still keep trudging along and making really great films out of Philadelphia. So I think that it's a smaller community now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I wish that they would put those tax incentives back because, as we were saying earlier, Philadelphia is vibrant and rich in many, many different cultures and areas to make films.
What is the tax incentive and what's it like compared to the rest of the country? Where has the best?
Yeah, I know that they had a lot of tax incentives that were in place. So if you did a movie here in Philly, you would get a lot of tax benefits from doing so. So you'd end up saving a lot of money. So if you were on a shorter budget doing the film in Philly, which brings in obviously a lot of revenue for the city, you would get benefits as a film producer doing it here in Philly. Now, I don't know exactly what the numbers are and how they've changed, but I remember, and that's before Fabe and I got into the industry because we have friends of ours that have been in the industry, and many of them moved. Many of them moved to Atlanta, New York, LA. So it's unfortunate, but hopefully one day those things will change and they'll come back. We'll see.
Okay. As far as I understand it, I listened to some interviews with you guys. You're self-funded with your movies, is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
For now.
For now. Yes.
For now.
Hopefully that'll change in the near future. But
because
yes, for now, yes.
So have you ever had to pitch your work at all to streamers or anything like that? Because I know you are on some streaming platforms. So how has that worked for you? How have you got onto streaming platforms and have you had to pitch or?
We have had to pitch. I mean, I don't think that it's the traditional what people envision as a pitch, so to speak, in terms of pitching a project for investors and things of that nature. But in terms of getting onto streaming networks and things of that nature, there's a host of independent film distributors out there that you submit your project to. They review it, and then if they're interested, you have some preliminary meetings with them. They kind of tell you the ins and outs in terms of what platforms they have relationships with, what it would look like, where in terms of the distribution would be. Is it mostly US based? Is it abroad, and so on and so forth? And from there, we kind of pick and choose which one is the best for us. Right now, we've had three full-length features to date that are all on streaming platforms, and all of them have gone through a distribution company called Indie Rights, which we have a great relationship with. And and that's essentially how we have done it.
Yeah.
We're exploring different avenues and opportunities for our latest feature that is currently in post-production. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, and we recently hired a PR person, Cindy Mitch, to help us in that regards, because it was one of the things that we realized along the way after doing now the fourth full-length feature film that we're working on, and we've gotten it down pretty rigorous schedule where we're maybe a film a year at this point, Fabe, and that's with
Yeah.
just Fabe and I. I mean, Fabe and I do 90%. We have a crew, we have a DP, we have a crew that does the filming, but literally everything else is done with Fabian and myself. So we hired a PR person to try to get us into those meetings, open those doors for investors and other film distributors, and hopefully getting us some meetings with the streaming platforms. So she's pretty good about training us on how to do those. We'll see what happens in the next 6 months or so.
That's good. That helps. And she came on the show for the listeners. So
Oh, was
if
she?
you haven't heard
Okay.
it, you can listen back.
Yeah.
She's absolutely lovely. Yeah.
Oh, she's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the distributor, that was before you started working with Cindy, is that right? So how did you get in the door with those guys, and what were those conversations like? How did you contact them? Did you email them, and how did it work?
That that came about through Google searches. So,
Yeah.
as simple as that sounds, because at the point at the time where we started to dive into not only films, because we've done 9 or 10 short films as well, but then we started thinking about expanding into full length features and things of that nature. Um, there was a lot of I don't know what I don't know type of thing. So it's just trying to educate ourselves. And the first place, thank God that we're in an era with the internet and searches. It's very easy. I say easy in quotes, but it's accessible to be able to search and to look and pick and choose and really kind of understand what the difference is between certain distributors, um, who's the best in terms of placements for our films in particular, because there's a host of distributors out there, particularly that are focused in the independent world, but also things like different genres, horror. For example, there's a list of distributors that only deal in horror. There's others that only deal with documentaries and so on and so forth. So it's just about doing your homework and searching and looking, and interviewing the distributors as much as they're interviewing us.
Yeah. I would say probably even from the first film on, we had a list of about, let's just say 15 or so distributors that we contacted and we reached out to. And of those, we got a lot of no's, which is great because every no is one step closer to a yes, as we say.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So
Yep.
we were like, all right, that's another no. It's great, but at least they said no, right? The last thing you
Yeah.
want is no response at all.
Yeah.
And then we had
Right.
2 or 3 that contacted us. And then through discussions, we made a decision as to who we felt would represent us best and open up the most doors. Now, our first film ended up being on Amazon. I would say it was on Amazon where you had to purchase it for a few weeks, and then it went straight on Amazon Prime. And that was our first film ever done. And we felt that was a
Mhm.
great success,
Yeah.
and so we worked very hard at learning lessons and getting better at our craft. And hopefully you can see the progression. If you watch our first film to our latest film, you should see a substantial increase in quality and storytelling and in every aspect, right? So hopefully we get to the quality in general where we can maybe get on larger streaming platforms. I think the next step for us would probably be Netflix, but that is the big boy on the block, as they say, very, very difficult to get into. So that's the plan, the long-term plan.
And so what's your plan of attack with that? Is that through Cindy mostly, or what are your kind of stepping stones to get onto Netflix?
I would say a three-pronged approach, right? One is Cindy, certainly to help us, branding and getting in front of the right people and going to the right events and networking. Because a lot of this industry, like almost every industry, a lot of it is who you know, right? So somebody's got to, single you out and say, I'm going to give that person a chance. And I think that that's true for almost every industry. That's one. Two is we take very seriously what we do. We are not ashamed to take our lumps and learn our lessons, hard lessons, expensive lessons, and get better at our craft. So we take that very, very seriously. We've done full-length feature films that we have scrapped because they did not live up to our envision of what quality it should be, right? So we spent a lot of money for something that will never see the light of day because it did not hit the progression that we wanted to. And lastly, really just getting on podcasts such as this, getting people to know who we are and watching the films, because most of these companies will look at the numbers. And you know this as well, being in the industry, right? The first thing that they're going to do, if you submit something to a film festival, it's just we were in the music industry for a very long time. It's very similar. They will look at your social media numbers. And if you don't meet a threshold, they will probably not even listen to your music, because you can't possibly listen to 1,000 songs, right? I mean, you don't have enough time in a day to do that, or watch, even worse, 1,000 movies that are 2 hours long each. So that's kind of like our three-pronged approach that we're going for.
I like that. That's good. Talking about events, what kind of events do you go to, and how often do you go, and what are your kind of networking techniques? Yeah.
Mhm. I would say that to date we haven't really been to too many formal events. We've been to a ton of movie premieres and things of that nature, some film festivals and things along those lines. What we're really looking to do is expand on that, and again to bring up Cindy's name. Um, she has been opening our eyes to the film festivals that are worth going to versus some smaller festivals that may or may not necessarily pan out to be helpful or beneficial for us. Not only from a submission standpoint, but also from a networking standpoint. So Mara was recently at a film festival with Cindy in New York City, and she was amazing in terms of saying, okay, this is who you have to meet. You're going to have to talk to this person. You're going to have to talk to that person. This person does this. This person does that. So she gives us kind of the ins and outs in terms of her extensive network, which is extremely helpful for us to not only talk to people, but talk to the right people, as Mara was saying, which is the common thread in a lot of industries. It's not what you know, it's who you know, type of thing. But you also have to back that up with something substantial. So going back to what Mara was speaking to earlier, we're constantly striving to improve, particularly on the production value of our films. So we feel like at this point we have the quote unquote resume to kind of back us up, to be able to point to things that we have done and say this is an example of what you can get for a surprisingly low budget. So just imagine if we had double or triple of that, which is still a drop in the dime as to what Hollywood is using to produce films.
And are you willing to talk about budgets at all for feature films or shorts?
Well, I could tell you
Uh,
this for sure. No one, at least not anyone that we've met, can produce what we produce at the quality we produce it at, in the time frame and in that budget. There's no other film production company that does what we do.
And
I
what
mean,
for?
we've seen
Yeah,
companies do films that are not even close to our quality, and it takes them 4 to 6 years.
yeah. So
Yeah, and their budgets are double or triple what we have,
Yeah,
or that we have access to. And the main reason for that is, I think Mariano alluded to this earlier, is that he and I do 90% of the work, particularly on the post-production side of the thing, which is just as expensive, if not sometimes more expensive than actually shooting the film, in terms of editing, coloring, sound, score, the whole 9 yards. We do that ourselves, which is one of the reasons
yeah,
why we can produce at the level that we produce with the limited budgets that we have. It's not because we want to or love to, but it's just a necessity,
yeah.
unfortunately, at this point, and hopefully we get to that point where we have some bigger budgets that we can bring on some additional people to help us out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we literally just got done shooting our last feature film 3 weeks ago. We wrapped filming, and our goal is, and it will be ready for distribution by October or November of this year. So, and that's because me and Mar basically work 6 to 7 days a week on editing, back and forth until we get it to the place where we want it.
But it's as good as we can get it. But without giving you hard numbers, because it does change per film, easily under $100,000 per film at this point,
that's,
which in terms of a Hollywood budget is literally nothing.
yeah, that's brilliant. Really good to
Yeah,
hear.
it's what they spend on catering.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do you have any advice for keeping production to a minimum, production budget to a minimum? Hi, listeners. If you want to keep this podcast going, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It's just a couple of pounds a month and it helps cover the production costs and keeps the episodes coming. Plus, you'll get access to bonus content, so podcast episodes that aren't released to the public. You'll also get insider tips on financing and distributing your film. And I also have a voucher code on there from Writer Duet Pro. This is fantastic screenwriting software. I use it myself. It's excellent. So you can go on there and get a discount each month for Writer Duet Pro. So our Patreon page is patreon.com/film finance podcast. I'll read that out again. Patreon.com/film finance podcast. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye bye.
I mean, for
It's
us, it's really what can we do, right? Because Fabe and I are very much alike in this sense where we can learn pretty much anything we put our minds to, but we're limited by time because we do have day jobs and families and social life and so forth. So what do we spend money on, and then what do we take on ourselves? So for example, I'm in the computer industry, so I built the custom rig that we use for all the editing. I took classes in coloring. I had editing and sound production expertise from when Fabe and I had a studio and a band for 20 some odd years. So we did a lot of music videos. So we had some of those skill sets already. And Fabe, we both went back to taking acting classes, and we send our scripts out for professional review, and we bring other people on. And so, it's what can we do? What do we feel that we can do really well that we can save that money on? And then what do we really need to hire out for? So it's a balance. Now, not everybody, I can tell you, does what we do, because as Fabe said, 6 to 7 days a week. I mean, we're relentless. I mean, our hashtag is no wait. When a problem occurs, we barrel through it. And almost always when there's a problem and Fabe calls me and he's like, "You're not going to believe what just happened. What are we going to do?" I'm like, every time this happens, something better comes along. Like it ends up being better. So now it's
Yeah.
like, oh, guess what happened? And we laugh about it. In the beginning, we were like panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would the only thing that I would add on to that in terms of advice to give to a filmmaker that is obviously on a budget and every penny counts and things of that nature. So um in the beginning for us, we really looked for others to collaborate with, meaning that, hey, we all got a stake in the game type of thing. So come on board as a team member. Doesn't always work out that way, but come on board as a team member, and then we'll ultimately all share the prize, so to speak, on the back end. I know that that's probably easier said than done, but you'd be surprised. There's a lot of hungry DPs out there that want to, just like actors, they want to get material for their reels and things of that nature. A lot of hungry crew members that will pitch in to help students. Great resource, because students just want on-set experience and things of that nature. In terms of actors, same thing. There's a lot of great actors. I mean, like it's mind-blowing. They don't necessarily have to be SAG. They're not necessarily union actors, but actors who are hungry, who are willing to participate and be in a good production. And that really, I can't stress that enough, because I think that, and Mara and I have experienced this. Not everybody with a camera is a filmmaker. Not everybody that writes a story is a screenwriter, and so on and so forth, right? So so being able to produce something that has some meaning, that people watch and say, "Wow, that was really good." Um, that just kind of exacerbates other people wanting to work with you on different projects and things of that nature. So it's all kind of like all encompassing. It's a big rolling ball, so to speak. There's no starting point. There's no ending point. It's just everything has to kind of come in together and work together. And as you get better, more people are going to want to work with you. And that's the point where we are going full circle, is now we're at the point where we have this resume built up. Now we are looking for additional funding, right? So that's the next piece in our puzzle. But going through all of those steps, sometimes it's painful, but what I would say is just do it. Just
Do
do
it.
it.
Do it.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Like Mara said, our hashtag is no wait. We don't wait for anyone. We don't wait for anyone's approval. We don't wait for anyone's money. We don't wait for any actors, whatever the case is. It's kind of like, do you want to do this? Yes. Great. Do you want to do this? No. Move on. Next. Type of thing.
That's good. I love that too. That's good advice. And life's too short, and no one's going to
Yeah.
open the door
Yes.
for you without you going out and knocking on it.
No.
Yeah.
Listen, when we
No.
first started, Fabe wasn't right. Fabe, this is how it's all started. Fabe wasn't getting the roles that he thought he would be well suited for. So he wrote.
Hmm.
He wrote it.
Yeah.
Then we got
Yeah.
together and we said, let's just do it ourselves. What do we need
Yeah.
anybody for? So,
Right.
and that just do it.
Yeah. That was that was classic, because I had never ever written anything,
Yeah.
let alone a screenplay. And I called up Mariano one day and I said, I wrote a movie. and and he basically said to me, what do you know about writing movies? And I said, nothing. Nothing at all. let's just see let's just see how this worked, because to Mara's point, I was acting at the time and I just wasn't getting the roles that I felt like I could do, and I wanted to broaden my spectrum and show people, what I was capable of. So I wrote this romantic movie with a little bit of a twist to it, which I love to do. And and yeah, we both read it one night. He came, ironically enough, the film was called One Night, but one night he came to my house, and we literally read the script from front to back. I played the character that I played in the film. Mariano played all of the rest of the
Oh,
other
wow.
characters, and
It's busy.
and when we got through it, we were just like, let's
This,
do it.
this is pretty good. Yeah.
That's
And
great.
that's how it happened.
Yeah.
What was the writing process like for you?
Um, I had an initial idea of what I wanted to write, and it was motivated by watching a let's call it chick flick. I hope I don't offend anybody,
Hallmark,
but
your typical
yeah,
romantic movie.
it,
Yeah.
typical movie that is cookie cutter. Boy meets girl. They get into an argument. At the end, boy or girl is running through the airport trying to stop the other person from getting on a plane. Oh my God, I love you. You're the love of my life. And I'm watching this, and within the first 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, I pretty much figured out what the plot was going to be. It didn't turn out exactly that way, but pretty much it did. And during that time, I was going through a divorce and just life circumstances, and it pissed me off watching this because I was like, this is not real life.
Yeah.
So that's what motivated me to write a romance movie, and again with a twist to it. Um, and I started to write it literally that same night. So my process was I would write usually starting around 5 or 6 o'clock until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Go to bed. The next morning, I wake up, go to the gym in the morning, think about what I wrote last night, and then say, okay, what happens next? And then that night, I start writing again. All of this culminated in about 3 weeks, roughly 3 weeks, where I had the first draft completed
That's
because I
brilliant.
was doing I was literally doing this every night, 7 days a week. Um, I wasn't talking to anybody about it. I didn't
Nope.
tell Mara
Nope.
until
I had no
I was
idea.
completely finished.
Yeah.
I was just doing it. And then of course, it took maybe about another month or two to edit it and refine it and all that other stuff that comes along with it. But yeah, basically it was completed under 3 months. I had the full script, final script, and I guess about 6 months after that, we started shooting it.
Yeah. And that first film what we call our film school. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when we realized, man, we need a list of things to never do again. Like just start
Mhm.
putting that list together of lessons learned,
What's
not
Yeah.
just for the people we deal with, but for ourselves as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the list for our
Oh,
budding?
it's
Oh my
long.
God.
It's long.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's the top three maybe, or at least one?
Top three, surround yourself with good people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's my number one
that should
because
be
it will
throughout your life as well.
Positivity.
throughout your life. This is a hard
Yeah.
lesson. It's a lesson I wish I learned at a much younger age. The people you
Mhm.
surround yourself with will either lift you or sink you.
Mm,
And it
Yeah.
really only takes one in a group
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
will drag you down. Um,
Hmm.
so, you have to make some hard decisions. And once someone shows you who they are, you believe them the first time, as Maya Angelou would say, right? That
Hmm.
that's the number one
Yeah.
for me.
Positivity, front and back, and always. I mean, and positivity doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to agree with you. So I just want to make sure that's
Yeah, we don't always agree.
very
That's for sure.
clear
Yeah.
as well. But positivity in terms of nothing negative can be on set, can be part of the production, or people telling you, well, you can't do that. Because my first response when somebody says you can't do that is why not?
mm,
What? Oh, because it's never been done before. Well, guess what? That's exactly the reason why we're doing this, because it's never been done before. Because we're not trying to. One of the things that we do, Mar and I, in terms of all of the films that we've done to date, is not necessarily have anything that's cookie cutter. Um, Most of our stories don't necessarily have a happy ending to them, which, some people do not like that. And I'm okay with you not liking it, because if and Mara said this a million times, I want people to either love it or hate
Yep.
it to a degree
Right.
where it's
I
like
either
that,
want
that
five
was the
stars or 1 star.
right. Because anybody in between is going to forget you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna remember you at all. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, and that's probably the worst reaction that you want, because when somebody hates something, if you have the opportunity to understand why they hate it, uh, 9 times out of 10 they hated it for the wrong reasons, which is nothing that we can do about it. You didn't like it. It's not for everybody, and
Right.
and that's totally fine. But you get those few gems that help you along the way to fashion things and to consider those things. As Mara said, every film that we make, we don't necessarily understand what to do, but we absolutely understand we will never do this again,
Yeah.
type of thing. So
And the
yeah,
other
it's
thing
all
is,
it's all helpful.
we're not Hollywood. Like, you hear a lot about how Hollywood is fake and people are fake, and they're like, oh, let's do lunch. I'll call you. Let's do something together. And they never do.
Yeah.
Our personal integrity, and Fabe and I consider ourselves to be very genuine type people. Pretty much, if we say something, we actually mean it. Otherwise, we will tell you straight up that we're not going to do that. We're not going to lead someone on, or give these platitudes and just make people feel good. We try to be very genuine, which hopefully comes across to the people that we meet, because I think that that's one thing we've seen it 1,000 times, Fabe, right? Where someone's like, yeah, let's definitely let's talk, and then
Yeah,
7 emails
yep.
later, no response. It's just like, wow,
Hmm.
I thought they were really serious, and they're not. So, that's a lesson, as well, is not only expect genuine people that you deal with and surround yourself with them, but be genuine yourself. You
Yeah.
have to walk the walk, as they say.
I
Hmm.
love that. Yeah. Um, what how do you see the landscape of the film industry? How do you see it going forward? But I'd like it to be something positive, because there's so much negativity that you hear day in, day out, and it's kind of, grinds you down. So what do you have that's positive to say about the future of the industry?
Well,
I
well,
think that we're go ahead, Mayor.
no,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, after you.
I, I think we're living in a very unique time, and it's very advantageous, particularly for independent filmmakers. Um, 20, 30, 40 years ago, or what have you, um, it was next to impossible to be an independent filmmaker and to be successful, whatever success means. And everybody has their own definition of success. And the reason I say that is because we literally can film a movie on this device right here if we wanted to, right? Um, so it doesn't necessarily, going back to our conversation about budgets, it doesn't always have to cost 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 to make a film. It takes talent, it takes practice, it takes determination, um, and just doing it over and over and over again, until you start perfecting your craft. But the outlets are so much more these days. Even streaming networks like Amazon and Amazon Prime and Tubi and things of that nature, and then the step up to the Hulus and the Paramount Plus and the Apple Plus and so on and so forth. They're accessible. It's not like, no, they're never going to look at you, listen to you, or consider you. They are accessible. I would say that your product has to be at a certain standard to be on there. But once you get to that standard, you have opportunities. So it's like I said, it's not like it was even 10 or 15 years ago.
Mm.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I mean, the other thing is I liken a lot of this industry to the music industry because Fabe did it and I did it for many, many years. You have to write 100 or more really horrible, horrible songs before you start getting good at it, right? So, there's a lot of people out there just start off with some short films and show them to people, and you can release them on YouTube for free. So, there's really no
Yeah.
better time to be a creative than right now.
Yeah,
Our
that's
our
true.
latest film, which turned out to be a trilogy of films, Sacrum Vindicti, was born from a short film.
Yeah.
And it was literally just a short film that I wanted to write to show a different part of this character who is otherwise a very loving family person, but also has a darker side of being a ruthless killer, right? Um, and basically, when people started to see that film, they had a bunch of questions like, what's the story on this guy? Why does he do this? Why does this other person do that? And this, that, and the other thing. And my response was, I don't know. I'm just writing a short film. But then when I sat back and I thought about it, I said, if I answer all these questions, I'm going to have a feature film on my hands, and that's basically how that film was born. And then it just kind of took a life on its own as a continuing story, which now is in post production for the third part, which is the final chapter of that film.
So how did you get the helicopter in that film if it was so low budget? Because that's really impressive. How did that come about?
Yeah, that's there are a lot of free, well, some are free and some are paid, but we pay for a few services that allow you to use clips.
Yeah.
So if you time it right and you film it right, you can kind of fake it, if you will. So we don't know anybody with a helicopter.
It looked good. It looked very good.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
blended in very well.
Thank you.
Just a quick question because we do need to end. Do you have any plans to use AI? Do you use it currently in post-production, or how do you feel about?
I don't think that it's where it needs to be. I do AI for a living. So cybersecurity and AI to make money. And then we spend it on films. But I don't think it's where it needs to be. However, I think that it is an industry disruptor and that it will infiltrate every single industry in existence. There's not going to be a way around it. So you have to really kind of pick and choose how you use it. So for example, in the last film we did, we had an air conditioner that we had no control over in the restaurant scene that kept going on and off. Well, one of the plugins for the studio version of DaVinci Resolve is AI that will isolate the vocals. Amazing. I clicked the button, clear as day. And then I added in fake room tone that was consistent. So, things like that, when it is a tool,
Mm.
I say use the tool. However, will it replace us? Not in the near future. Maybe someday, but not in the near future.
Mm. Um, that's such a big conversation, AI. I love
It
it.
is. Oh, we'll go.
Based off,
You
Yeah,
need another hour.
there's
yeah, exactly.
there's
Don't have time for,
there, there,
unfortunately. So where
there's
can we?
people
Yeah.
in the whole spectrum of AI. Um, so yeah, but I agree with Mayor. Use it if you're using it as a tool to help enhance what it is that you're putting together, that's great. If you're using it as a substitute, that's probably not where you want to be as a filmmaker.
Yeah. Where can we find you and your films? Where can we follow you?
So the easiest place is we have a website for olivesproductions.com. Four as in FOUR, the number four, forolivesproductions.com. On that, we have links to both our social media pages,
YouTube,
the
yeah.
different films that we've produced to date, and so on and so forth. But we're also on Instagram, Fabian Farina, with the number 215, Mariano Mattei, also with the number 215, and 215, as just to let you know what that means, is that's the area code in Philadelphia. So that's
Oh,
what we
okay.
use
It has meaning.
to
That's nice.
identify
It has
ourselves.
meaning, yeah.
So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of the normal social media sites. And in terms of our films, One Night, one as in ONE, and night as in NIGHT, not knight in shining armor type of thing. You can find that on Amazon, on Tubi. If you do a simple search of One Night Fabian Farina, it'll pop right up.
Yeah.
The same with Sacrum Vindicti. So that's a little bit harder for people to spell, but essentially it's Latin for sacred revenge. But if you do a search for Sacrum Vindicti, again on Amazon, Tubi, a couple of other streaming networks, which I forget off the top of my head, associated with Fabian Farina, they should pop right up, and you'll be able to check them out. But we have links on all of that on fourolivesproduction.com as well.
Okay. We'll put all of that in the show notes as well so people can find it easily for you.
Thank you so
Brilliant.
much.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed this. It's been fantastic speaking with you guys, and you're lovely. And I wish you all the best with your projects in the future.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully you can come back on and have a chat with us again. So
Definitely.
Yeah,
If we're ever in
absolutely.
London, we're going to stop by. And if you're ever in Philly,
Yes.
I'm sure you reach out.
Yes.
oh, definitely.
And
Yeah, I would totally.
if
I
if you
hope
come
I
to Philly,
can.
we'll show you around, and then we'll do a live podcast
There you
with
go.
all
That'd
of
be
us.
so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually. I'm due
Yeah.
a holiday. I'm long overdue for a holiday. So,
Awesome.
all right.
Awesome.
I will
Great.
let you
Thank you.
go. Thank you so much. Have an
Thank
awesome
you.
day.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate it. Bye.
Hi, listeners. If you want to keep this podcast going, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It's just a couple of pounds a month and it helps cover the production costs and keeps the episodes coming. Plus, you'll get access to bonus content, so podcast episodes that aren't released to the public. You'll also get insider tips on financing and distributing your film. And I also have a voucher code on there from Writer Duet Pro. This is fantastic screenwriting software. I use it myself. It's excellent. So you can go on there and get a discount each month for Writer Duet Pro. So our Patreon page is patreon.com/film finance podcast. I'll read that out again. patreon.com/film finance podcast. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye bye.